Mothers in Charge was started in May of 2003. It came about because of three mothers, Lydia Jenkins, Harriet Ahmed, and myself, Dorothy Johnson Spite. Three mothers who had lost children, different times, but all of our sons were murdered. Mothers in Charge really came about, I guess, because of my own pain. I wanted to take my pain, my anger, my tears, all of my emotions, and do something positive with that. My son, Khalid Jabbar Johnson, was 24 years old and was murdered on December 6, 2001. He was shot 7 times over a parking space. We found out that the person that murdered my son had also murdered 19-year-old Justin Donnelly 5 months before he murdered Khalid, 3 blocks from where he murdered Khalid. So during my grief process, and I'm still actually going through the grief process, it's a long journey, I've decided to not allow my son's death to be in vain. But because of his life and because of his death, to channel that into something that will help other mothers, other families, and save children.
This year we did have a march, and it wasn't like the march from 2000. There were 750,000 mothers and others in 2000. This year there were about 5,000, but it was a very different kind of a march because of the assault weapons ban, which is what we're focusing on right now. And Dorothy and Mothers in Charge came down. There's another group in Philadelphia, Mothers Opposed to Murder, who have also lost children, and it was remarkable to have these mothers come down and see that there were so many other mothers in the same situation. So it was a healing day more than anything else. But in this documentary, it's so crucial for us to get the information out and really become educated, to really understand what the Second Amendment does really say and what the intent of it is, so that when you do talk to folks from the NRA and the Second Amendment sisters, who we do run into quite often, that it doesn't become a screaming match. We have to build bridges with these people. We have to build bridges if we're going to do anything to solve this problem.
About 2 months ago, Mothers in Charge, about 7 of us gave testimony in City Council on gun legislation that had been introduced by 2 council people, Councilwoman Donna Reed Miller and Councilman Darrell Clark. Actually today, right now, if you have a valid ID, you can go to a gun show or a gun store and buy 50 guns, you know, and we know what happens to those guns. They end up back in our community, in the hands oftentimes of our children, through illegal sales. So there's a lot of legislation through different elected officials that is currently going on, that is happening, that we are working very closely with the elected officials and with the community around the issues that we can get those laws changed.
We don't have child safety locks. You can carry concealed weapons. We don't have an assault weapons ban in place. If the ban expires on September 13th, you can carry a Tech-9, which is a small handgun, assault weapon, concealed, into a bar, into a church, into anywhere. It's concealed, you can carry it anywhere. 18-year-olds will be able to buy assault weapons in any gun store September 14th. 13-year-olds will be able to go and buy Uzis at gun shows in Pennsylvania. The gangs are making a comeback, as Bilal from Men United stated last week. They're all going to have assault weapons.
I don't think that the issue is one of gun control. The issue is really getting guns out of the hands of folk who should not have the guns in the first place. The issue is really about sending a message to folk that if you have a gun illegally and you transfer it to somebody knowing that they are going to use that gun illegally, then you need to know that there's going to be consequences. Yes, Pennsylvania is the 2nd largest state for the National Rifle Association. I mean, sometimes it bothers me. I sit in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. If you look at the leadership of the House and Senate, at least 90% belongs to the National Rifle Association. At least a majority of the Senate and House chairpersons of committees are members of the National Rifle Association. but they're serious about what they're doing. They don't mind showing their cards. They don't mind making it very clear that they would do whatever is necessary to prevent you and I from interfering with their alleged right to own and use a gun at any time. Right now, under the Pennsylvania Uniform Firearms Law, it is no more than a second-degree misdemeanor to possess a gun illegally. A second-degree misdemeanor. Otherwise, they slap on the hand.